Hi everybody, this is Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and today I have something really fun. I get to evaluate the fall 2022 yarn line, or some selections from that, for Universal Yarn. Just to be upfront, this is not a paid endorsement. They just sent me some of these and want to know my opinions. And just to let you know, these opinions are totally unbiased, and I'm just going to let you know what I think as I go through each one. Well, let's go ahead and open the box and see what we have. I'll give you just a quick view right here. I love these guys. They always send a personal handwritten note. And thank you, design team. It's so kind of you to do that. And let me just mention this, that if you want to stand out in whatever work that you're doing, write a handwritten note. Nobody does this anymore, and it's such an amazing blessing. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have. Oh, wow. We have fashion cotton, light and long tweed. I'll give you a view of this. I'm going to look at these much more closely, and I'll give you the yardage and all of that in just a minute. And we have Curio Mini and Curio regular. I guess these are the same size yarn, just different quantities. So it'll be fun to look at those. And ooh, this looks nice. Uptown Worsted. This is some of their beautiful acrylic yarn. And let's see. Ooh, there's something called Creative Bubble. Looks like something that you would use make scrubbies from. And let's see what else we have. Oh, this looks amazing. Creative Fluffily. And I'm looking forward to sharing the content of this particular yarn with you. And what else do we have here? The last but not least, I saved the pretty one. Offbeat. That's the name of this yarn. Looks like there are a lot of different colorways on this. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and show these to you using my recording softbox upstairs, so we can look at these more closely, and then I'm going to swatch them up and let you know my final verdict. So here is the Curio and the Curio Mini. These are the same content, just different amounts. It's really nice that you can buy smaller amounts if you don't need a larger ball. And I do love these fall colors right here. Each of these is a 3.5 ounce ball, or 100 grams, 437 yards, or 400 meters. It's a super fine. It looks to me an awful lot like a sock weight. And I will find out more as I crochet this up. It's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And the nylon oftentimes adds strength. So let's go ahead and see how these work up. Oh, let me just also mention real quick that the Curio Mini has 109 yards. That is the only difference between the small ball and the large ball. Well, let me go ahead and show you my little swatch. I made this up using the Celtic weave, and as you can see, this yarn has lovely stitch definition, and with this there is also a good deal more of elasticity with this particular yarn, more so than I usually get with traditional merino superwash yarns. So because of that's really nice. I think this will help hold your sweater shapes and so forth. Now, it does not have the super soft feel like some merino superwash yarns do. It does feel just a tad bit woolly to me, just a tiny bit abrasive. So I just wanted to be honest about that. But I still think if it's worn as an outer garment, this should be a really excellent choice. And they do come in some beautiful, beautiful new fall colors, like I've been showing you. And I'll show you in a second where you can check their website. And I'm looking for okay, this is called Carrot. This color is called Carrot. The color that I was using in the smaller ball is called, okay, Sundial. Okay, so a lot of interesting colors that have just been released. This is fashion cotton called light and long tweed. This is a DK weight, 50 grams, 185 meters. This is 47% cotton and 43% acrylic, 7% polyamide, and 3% viscose. Made in Italy. And it looks like it's going to be a lovely color, but a slow color change. And the yarn looks like a sequence of chains. It's a slightly different than just, a pure, twisted fibers. So this is going to be interesting. So let's go ahead and see how this works up. I'd had to just make a little bit more of this so that as far as the swatch goes, because I wanted to see how long and how the color in this plays out. And I really, really did like the way the color changed. And this is very soft yarn, yet as you can see from the popcorn stitches I made with it, it does tend to accentuate texture as well. Okay, it not probably nearly as much as the other superwash merino that I showed you, but this is really, really a nice soft blend of the acrylic and the cotton. And I just love the way the color change is very subtle. It doesn't happen lickety split instantaneously, but just gradually as you crochet. And I think if you're knitting, even this would be even a slower transition. These are highly texturized stitches, but I think this would make a lovely scarf if I just continued this on. Okay, very nice fiber, very, very good candidate for something that you can wear around your neck or up close to your skin. The Rico designed creative bubble looks very interesting. Feels, of course, very, very rough. But the design of this yarn is for making scrubbies and such, and it looks as if it will hold up extremely well to that. Let's go ahead and look at this. It's 100% polyester, and let me see if I can get okay, it's 90 meters or 50 grams. All right, so let's go ahead and check this one out. This is kind of a sport, between a sport weight and a DK weight. I'm hesitant to call it yarn. You can see by the looks of it, it's very abrasive because this is material that you really can only have a limited use for, such as crocheting scrubbies and whatnot. And this is actually the first time I've used this kind of material. So what was my opinion of this? Well, I was actually surprised at how well it crocheted. It was not the beast that I thought it was going to be, and I was able to crochet this up with a size H crochet hook, which is also a size 5.00 millimeter. And another thing that I was surprised at is how well, let me go ahead and show you with another hook here, is how well I could find the loops. You can just see, let me go ahead and just crochet some of this with you. Just, if I had to work in the top loops, I can. Do you see how easy this is to find those top loops? I was really surprised by that, because usually highly texturized things like this are only suitable for post stitches, which is why I worked the basket weave and post stitches. But this really is easier to work with than I thought it would be. So I have learned my lesson, and this may be a good candidate for some future designs on my channel for scrubbies, for pots and pans and whatnot. Here is a new color offering for the fall of the Uptown Worsted. This is Universal Yarns anti-pilling acrylic, 100% anti-pilling acrylic, 3.5 ounces or 100 gram balls, 180 yards or 165 meters. This is a medium weight, which would be considered a number 4 in the US. In Europe and other places, they may refer to this particular size as Aran weight. And the name of this particular color is Midnight Heather. So let's go ahead and work up a sample of this beautiful Midnight Heather yarn. Very nice yarn. I did just a simple swatch with this because knowing the kind of textures that I like to make, I know that the dark yarns would not really bless them that well, but just making a swatch of double crochets felt really nice. This feels like it's on the thicker end of the number 4 weight category, which is absolutely fine with me. I think you would be comfortable using anything from an I to even a size K on this. And again, very, very soft feeling. This is definitely going to be a yarn that I am going to use in future designs. Next we have a yarn called Offbeat. And let's take a look at the content. This is 5.25 ounces or 150 grams, 586 yards, which is a good amount, or 536 meters. This is a fine, it feels to me like a number 2. And let's see, is there a name of the color? Okay, this colorway is called Vibes. And let's take a look at the colorway here. You can see this is a very, very beautiful long striping type of yarn, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this works up. So let's go ahead and work up a sample. Okay, this is considered a fine. I would consider this like a DK weight yarn, and let me show you what I ended up doing with this. I decided that that was probably enough for a project, so I will give you a better view of this in just a minute. But I decided to just go ahead and recrochet one of my easier designs that would show off the color changes, and I was not disappointed. I was very happy the way this came out, and I ended up having enough yarn for a medium-sized shawl or a large scarf. The yarn feels very soft. Of course, that added alpaca had me interested in making something that would wear around the neck, or, you know, that would be in contact with skin in the wintertime, and this did not disappoint. Now, there's one thing that I'm concerned about when you have these color changes, is especially when they are abrupt, and yeah, this is one of those cakes where the color change was abrupt, but with this particular design, you don't really tell as much. There was one point in the cake when the thing that I dreaded happened, and that is when the color changed, and it did not change to exactly where it would have changed in the color order. However, I think it was around in this area. I don't really recall. With the design, the way I made it, it really camouflages the change, and with the heathered look of the yarn, you really don't notice it as much. But yes, this did have one of those color changes that oftentimes, you know, we dread as crocheters, because it changes right in the middle of the color pattern. But even that said, this does feel like lovely yarn, and again, with that added 10% alpaca, I think I would make another design with this without thinking too much about it. And there are many other color combinations to select from, and we'll take a look at that in just a second. And lastly, we have Creative Fluffily DK weight yarn, and this has 150 grams or 420 meters. This is made up of 40% cotton, 30% polyester, 20% acrylic, and 10% wool. So it's quite a nice blend. And let's see if we can get the name of this colorway for you. All right, I don't see the name, but there is always a number, which would be right here, 001, I believe. So let's go ahead and work up a sample of Creative Fluffily. This feels amazing. I'm hoping that it will work up with very little pilling. So let's see what it will do for us. I wasn't sure at first how fussy this would be to work with, because whenever you have really fluffy yarn, you're really not allowed to make many mistakes, because when you try pulling it out, it can really be difficult, kind of like working with mohair. Now, I was able to take some stitches out. It was not easy, but it was not as hard as ripping out mohair, which for those of you who've ever worked with mohair, it's just about impossible. It is possible to take stitches out if the stitches are not crocheted too tightly. But I will say, with that little sparkle, with that combination of the soft yarn, this feels amazing. And to let you know that there will be a design using this yarn, actually this very design, which I'm going to call the popcorn cowl, that will be coming to my channel very soon, just in time for the fall. So yeah, and this only took 1 cake of yarn. How convenient is that? I really love these 1 cake or 1 skein wonders. So I will give you a better view of this. But yes, this is a yarn that I definitely give 2 thumbs up to. I don't know long term how this will wear, as far as, you know, when fabric rubs against itself, oftentimes you get pilling. So I don't know what the result of that's going to be. So in some sense, the jury is still out on that particular issue. But since cows generally don't touch themselves a lot, as let's say the underarms of sweaters rubbing wood, and oftentimes that's where pilling begins. But since this will not be touching a lot of fabric, it might do very well over the long haul. Again, jury is still out on that. All right, here we are at universalyarn.com, their website. Let's go ahead and click on new for the new offerings. And we will see many of the yarns that we looked at already. Let's go ahead and just take a look at them one at a time. The Curio and the Curio Mini. Let's go ahead and just get a quick view of all the colorways that are available for this yarn. You'll see some that are marked out temporarily. That just means that they're temporarily out of stock. It does not mean that they're discontinued. I've already checked with them just to verify that. So these lovely fall colors that I showed you are available now, and some will be available very soon. Like, for example, this color here, Sediment, and some others. So anyway, check those out. The price point, $14.50. And you can scroll down, hit yarn details, and you can get all the information you need as far as how many yards, the sample gauge, and yarn care. It tells you that's a super fine, which is also a fingering weight yarn, and what the yarn is made up of. All right, so let's go ahead and look at another yarn. Okay, this is one of my favorites here, the Offbeat. This is the yarn where I made that really pretty scarf or shawl. And let's just look at some of the individual colorways of this particular yarn. And again, this was that design I showed you was a 1 skein wonder or 1 cake wonder. And you can just see some of these beautiful colorways. Here's the one that I'm using. You can see this is very popular and is sold out temporarily, but it is going to be available very, very soon if it's not already available now. Okay, here's some other beautiful, beautiful colorways here. And just as a refresher, let's hit yarn details and see the information again on that. That's the 90% acrylic, 10% alpaca. It's listed as a fine, but this is the one I said crocheted up kind of like a DK, very kind of a light DK. So, and you can see very easy care on this particular yarn. Let's go look at another one. I'm mostly wanting to show you the colorways. Okay, here is the Rico Creative Bubble print. This was I believe this was the color. Actually, that's a little bit different. This is this is the scrubby yarn, and they have this in different colorways. The one that I used was more of a solid color, but this is very interesting. They have this in very colorful colorways, so this could be really fun presents. Very quick and easy presents for Christmas
Remember, this was the stuff that looks looks a little tough to crochet with, but it actually worked up quite easily. Looks like they are sold out. So let's go ahead and look at the details, and you can see any details that you need. This is interesting. Do not bleach, do not tumble dry, lay dry flat. So anyway, just reminder, don't put these in the dryer if you make those for your um, kitchen items. All right, let's look at Fluffily. This was the yarn that I used, one cake, to make the beautiful cowl. And let's look at some of the colors here. And you can see up close, you can see some of the little filaments. And this is beautiful. This has a kind of a gold filament in it. That's very nice. And it looks like the filament, the reflective filaments that are added to this match the color of the yarn, which is a really cool idea. And let's look at the rest of these. All right. And it looks like they're getting low on some of these. This is also a very popular yarn. So this again is the one with that very interesting makeup, cotton, polyester, acrylic, and wool blend. And it was very soft to work with. All right, so let's look at one more. Okay, we have the light and long tweed DK. This is the one that had the very slow color change. And let's look at some of these. This is really nice when they knit them up. And you can see how nicely the color change works on this. It's a very gradual change. I think this would be an excellent candidate for some tops, crocheted tops, or even knitted tops if you're a knitter. Very, very nice colors. And you can just go to their site and flip through these and maybe even do it more slowly than I am right now. But I just want you to get a good idea of all the different colorways. I think it's very helpful. Let's take a look at the yarn details on this. And this was the cotton, acrylic, polyester, and viscose. Okay, so now let's check out the Uptown line. Let's go ahead and look. Uptown Worsted. Let's go ahead and you can see that this comes in the Uptown Worsted hues, which is a slightly color changing variety, but we're going to look at the solids for now. And down, once you get through some of these solid colors, you can come down here and you can see some of the heather colors, which is really, really, really nice. Let's look at some of these. There's a beautiful denim heather. And this is the one I showed you, the midnight heather. It's really, really nice soft yarn. Let's look at another one. Oh, that's nice. The chocolate. That looks really delicious. Okay. Oh, that's a nice one. Phantom heather. And then we get into some neon colors. But anyway, I just thought I wanted to show you some of these fall colors that are quite lovely. And there's some other nice fall hues. So just something to think about. And again, look at the price point here. These are $7.75 each. And let's look at some of the yarn details. That's for 180 yards. And just to remind you, I just completed a throw that will be released this fall. And it took 19 skeins of this yarn. Let me see. I used, I believe it was the turquoise, or was it no, it was the sapphire. I used the sapphire, and I did not have any knots, even in 19 balls of yarn, which is a really good quality control. 2 thumbs up from me. It's lovely when you don't have to deal with more knots than what your design is already going to have to deal with as you join new yarn. So that is 2 thumbs up from me for this particular yarn. All right. Now, if you want to look at their site, they have many other things available, kits and tools, and there are many other yarns you can check out. You can check out the yarns they may have on sale. Of course, this is always subject to change, but they do have some significant sales available, especially if they are switching from, seasonal yarns. You can check that out. Maybe some of these will be discontinued yarns. So whenever you shop sales like this, be sure that you buy all that you're going to need, maybe a little bit extra to complete your design, so you don't have to try to hunt this down once the yarn is completely gone. And all right, so I hope you enjoy taking a look at their site. And if you want to connect with them with their social media, you can just click on any of these icons and that should take you there.
Well, I wanted to give you a better view of some of the projects that I actually completed with these yarn samples. I'm going to go ahead and put this on for you. And you can see just how nice and well this material drapes. This is with the Fluffily yarn, and we're going to be calling this Bonnie's Popcorn Cow, and it will be coming to my channel very, very soon. Okay, and let me show you the other design. And this is with the Offbeat. This is with the cake of yarn that had many different colors. I just wanted to give you a better view of what I was able to complete with just one cake of this yarn. This can make, again, a lovely scarf, just like just like this. And the video for how to make scarves like this is already on this channel, and I'll put the link in the video description below. Okay, and if you're not into scarves, you can always wear this as a shawl. It is totally reversible. So lots of fun to be had, even with just one cake of yarn. All right, well, I put a lot of opinions out there about these yarns. I want to hear from you. Have you used some of these universal yarns in the past, or are you tempted to use some of them? Are there some drawbacks or some maybe not so good experiences you've had? I would like to know. Again, I'm not being paid by anybody for my opinion. Therefore, this is what my honest opinion has been, and I do hope you appreciate that. Please comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. I would love to hear from you. God bless. Bye-bye.